Hello and welcome to Music City Mix. I am Chris Wilhite. This is Donnie Noland, and we are your hosts on this journey through all things Middle Tennessee, from real estate to renovations and sports and politics. If it happens in the Middle Tennessee area, we are going to talk about it all while enjoying a nice glass of bourbon. So pull up a chair, crack open a bottle, and let's get this thing started. Donnie, what are you drinking tonight, my friend?
Well, it has been a very strange day for me. I've been on the road most of the day. I had to go pick up some flooring in our favorite place is Dalton. And I asked them, I said, "Hey, do I need to bring the trailer? Is it one pallet or two?" And they said, "No, it's just one pallet." Well, if you know anything about shipping, you know that one pallet is about 1,600 pounds. Two pallets is more. And I knew my truck couldn't handle more than that. I offered the trailer. They said, "No, we're fine." I get there. It is one pallet with a half a pallet stacked on top of it. So I rode like a lowrider at about 40 miles an hour. And every time I took a curve, it was rough. Now, that said, the great thing about Dalton is they have Eagle Rare at
Ooh,
all times down there. And
ooh, yeah.
I had gotten to a spot where I wasn't comfortable opening another bottle of Eagle Rare because I have a supply, we'll say. I'm not going to tell you how many. But I picked up a few Eagle Rares today. So I am drinking Eagle Rare tonight, straight from Dalton, Georgia. Like I said, I don't get to go there as much because of my relationship status is now set as single. But
Y'all hear that, ladies?
that said, I will be toasting to a long day and that's a two-finger pour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Two fingers of Eagle Rare. What are you about, you, buddy?
I am personally drinking my favorite, Woodford, mostly because I have a little special world-shaped decanter that I keep it in that the boys got me for Christmas, and I'm ready to put something else in it. So I'm trying to wear that down. Um, Most of that stuff that you left here, the Eagle Rare and the Stag. Now the Stag, I still got probably half a bottle of, just because that stuff's so strong. But the Eagle Rare you left, buddy, that's gone.
I figured it would be.
Gonna leave that here for a month and a half. It's going somewhere. So
I figured if I left something there, it was going to leave.
so yep, I'm drinking me some Woodford. It's my go-to. It's my favorite. But I'm ready to put something else in that decanter. So cheers, my friend.
Cheers, sir.
Well, it's been a little bit since we got on. Been a little bit since we have had a consistent weekly broadcast. It seems like every time it's time to record something, something's going on. Now, for me, I mean, I guess it's kind of it'd be the same for you. The spring season's heating up, man. Work is getting busy. Real estate's been absolutely just been on fire here lately.
Sure.
I mean, I've had 3 new listings in the last week.
That's awesome, buddy.
Yeah, man, it's really heating up, going great. So things going pretty well for you, obviously, if you're driving down to get 2,000 pounds worth of flooring from Dalton.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we could always pay the shipping, but since we're so close, here, hour and a half drive, they say $350 for shipping. I was like, $75 in gas.
Yeah, for sure.
And 3 or 4 hours of my time on a normal trip, but this one obviously took longer. But yeah, I mean, it's been a busy time for me. And I mean, it's spring. I guess we didn't get a hard winter. I don't know that. I mean, it was 72 degrees today. It was that's full spring right there. But
Something tells me it ain't done.
oh no, March is gonna.
Something tells me we're fixing to get something big here pretty soon.
Yeah, March is always a biter of the butt when it comes to ready for spring. But I guess the big news this week was the phone outages. I don't have AT&T or T-Mobile. I have Verizon. I'm not going to talk good about them. I'm not going to say anything bad. But that said, I had my first today where I sent 3 or 4 pictures and they never went through. And I even have them on my home here now on the internet, and they're still not going through. So I asked the people, and they're like, "Yeah, we're with Verizon." So, is it cyber attack? Is it sunspots? What is it? What do you think?
My service out here at my house, my internet service isn't really all that great anyway. But I mean, I feel like today and yesterday, it's just been, just extra bad. I mean, especially trying to download. I was trying to download some zip files. I mean, a zip file it's so compressed, it should download quick as anything. And I was having even trouble downloading zip files for these listing photos that I had done. But I mean, as far as the phone goes, I never had any issue with my phone. It went through. Now, some of the people that I was trying to talk to was having issues. It couldn't
Yeah.
respond to me. Um,
Yeah.
it
I
it
think most of my
almost cost me a
subcontractors have it.
listing. It almost cost me a listing because the day that happened, which was last Thursday, um, I'm sitting there. I was supposed to. We had our first a networking meeting at out at Party Foul, and after the meeting, directly after the meeting, I was supposed to make a phone call to a new client, and I was like, "All right, I'll call you at 10 o'clock." And 10 o'clock came, and I couldn't get. I guess because his phone was AT&T, so I couldn't get a hold of him, and I would text him, and I'd get a red receipt from him, but he wasn't responding. I was like, "Oh crap!"
You missed it. I missed it. Oh no.
But thankfully, he I started sending him messages saying, "Hey, I think your phone might be, affected by this," and he eventually came around and told me it was, and so,
Well, that's
thankfully.
good. That's good. Yeah, it was definitely a thing around here. I mean, I most of my subcontractors I think have AT&T, and I definitely had a contractor didn't show up because he couldn't get in touch with me, and I was sending him a message, "Hey man, where you at?" And later that afternoon, he goes, "I'm sorry, my phone hasn't worked all day, and I never got the address." And I was like, "I understand. I mean, that happens. It's something we can't do anything about. We're just kind of, I guess, it shows how dependent we are now on the internet, on the text messages." And I mean, even if you pick up the phone and try to call them, your phone now is your
Dude, you should
lifeblood.
have seen our friend Tiffany. She came out to that networking meeting, and I was giving her hell because the last time she came out, she was late to something. And so this time, here it comes around. It's 9 o'clock. Now it's 9:05. She's still not here. She's not responding. And she finally gets there, and she's like, "I had to try to remember how to get here on my own." She said, "Because my phone's not working." She said, "I drove the entire way here, not even knowing if I was going the right direction." I was like, "Dude, you're really going to have to figure out how to get places on your on your own."
Yeah, yeah, that's a huge thing. I mean, I've been for some reason my sense of direction has never been a problem. I've been able to jump off the interstate without a maps or with I mean before maps even
Oh,
MapQuest was
oh.
even a thing and just figure it out. So
It
yeah.
was funny because she pulled up her route home on somebody else's phone and snapped pictures of the directions so that she could swipe through the pictures to get home. I was like, "Dang, that's
That's
bad.
desperate. That's desperate.
That's
Yeah.
that's bad."
That shows either you hadn't been in the city long or you don't have a good sense of direction.
I'm sure
So
we'll have her on this show eventually.
I like
So
Tiffany. Yeah, we'll bring her on. I
yeah.
I had a meeting with Zach Paxton. He's now at
Oh
PP&G.
yeah, that's my dude.
PPG paints, and he's going to be on with us, I think, in the coming weeks as well. I know we've been flying solo, not by choice, but just kind of by what we're forced to do as far as scheduling and timing. Until we get some consistency, we don't want to try to bring
For
somebody in
sure.
and have to cancel them a couple of times. So,
We had these big aspirations of everybody that we're bringing on, and then the market shows up and says, "You ain't doing nothing but working."
hey, I put in about 115 hours last week. I worked most every day I was getting up at 5 and getting home at 10.
I'm
And
gonna need to borrow about $10,000 money bags.
I didn't say I had money. I just said I was working that hard. Doesn't mean I had money. It just means I was trying to play catch up and get those deadlines figured out. And the
Yeah.
amount of issues that I had, and I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I screwed up today. I am now going back to Dalton tomorrow because
Oh my
I
gosh,
I
really?
picked up, dude. I picked the wrong color. They told me what they wanted. I looked at it, and I got the wrong color. And I had staph infection in September and my mandible sinus, and I do have some vision issues. I thought it was getting better. I still can't read out of my left eye, but I didn't realize it affected my color blindness that much. And I did. I admitted it when I got to the customer today. I was like, you know what? I can't see the difference. I will admit that I have an issue and I chose wrong. I will gladly go back tomorrow and fix it for you.
Why didn't you just read the words on the box?
They didn't have the words. They just said, we want this color. And they had 4 pictures. And it's
Gotcha.
my fault. It was just a communication. I should have
So you
made
got what you ordered, but it's not what they wanted,
exactly.
basically.
Yeah.
I got you.
I ordered the right one, but they told me they wanted this color. And on the sheet, they looked the same. So I picked the one that I thought they ordered, and it was my fault. And I admit it. But man, you talk about feeling old today, just the vision. But I then I texted somebody, hey, let me have your guy's number. And I was like, okay, I sent it. He goes, that's not a full number. What do you mean it's not a full number? I said, he's like, he's got no area code. I'm like, look at him like, oh my God, I've had
When
this
do
guy.
they have letters in your phone number?
I remember at one point many years ago when I first got a cell phone, and he was one of the first people I knew that had a cell phone. You didn't have to dial an area code. You just dialed the number, and whatever city you were in, it automatically tagged that number in it. That was when every city had one area code. Well, needless to say, he's been in my phone as a contact that long. And man, you talk about making you feel old. I said, golly, I had people in my contacts that don't have area codes.
And that ain't been, I mean, that's been what? That's been about 20 years, I guess.
That's not helping,
Seriously,
bro.
I mean,
You're
that's
not
been
helping.
20 years since they've made you start putting the area code in.
You're not helping me, bro.
I mean, I'm
And
sorry.
then I get on Facebook, and my mechanic, good friend of mine, I've seen this kid. He used to play at my game store, and we were talking. I've known him for 20 years. He was a kid, 13 years old. He's now in his 30s. He went to auto diesel college, got his mechanics, moved up to master mechanic, master technician. Now he's Firestone corporate training their guys. And I told him, I was like, man, I'm so proud of you. And he's like, yeah, man, I can't believe I'm 33. And I'm like, man, you're not helping me, bro. You're making me feel older. Like, so it's today, everybody's making Donnie feel old. So, yeah.
There is a reason for that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I hear you. You're really not helping. But let's move on.
As long as you stay older than me, that's all I care about.
Yeah, if you ever catch me, we got a problem.
You got a problem.
I said we because you're going to pass
if
me.
I ever catch you, that means it's because you're dead. So
that's what I said. That means you're passing me, and that means we got a problem because you're next. Anyway, if you missed it, we have a U.S. Congressman Michael Guest his son was arrested in downtown Friday night after being accused of assaulting a police officer coming out of Jason Aldean's bar around 11:06 with a clear plastic cup full of ice, fell from above and struck him on the left foot. Obviously, when the officers looked up, he saw multiple people pointing at the opposite corner of the bar. They notified security. They went over, arrested him on the spot. He was 20 years old. So obviously, he is not supposed to be there. Needless to say,
no,
it was not the first drink he had thrown out that night, evidently. May or may not be. We'll figure it out. He initially denied it, but he later admitted it. So
Yep.
it's hey, everybody's, even if you're a congressman or a politician or mommy, daddy can't get you out of everything. Trust me, I know.
They really can't. I mean, and hell, he was like a DA or something like that too, wasn't he?
He might have been.
Wasn't he a DA originally?
Originally, yeah, not his son, but yeah, originally, yeah.
I'm talking about Representative Guest.
Yeah.
Well, you can't control what your kids do.
No, but you're responsible for it for a certain part. Trust me, when they do something, as a father now, I realize the pain I put my parents through because God knows I wasn't on the straight and narrow. My straight and narrow had 90-degree turns and U-turns and 360s and donuts and power slides and
Man, had I ever gotten caught for half the stuff that I did, I'll tell you what.
We're not going to talk about that. That'd be bad. That'd be real bad. In some other news, and I'm sure we'll get on this in our other podcast, Whiskey and Wisdom. Did you see the Cam Newton stuff this weekend?
I did. So you know what I didn't see though is what led. I saw Cam Newton holding his own against 4 dudes, but I did not see what led up to it and why it happened.
So evidently and I may be getting the names wrong. There was a football group, 7-on-7 group, TPC maybe I think is the name, and they kind of called him out on social media and said, we're going to start some shit when we see Cam, and they did. Now that said, if you aren't aware of what a pro football player is, and I mean a pro football player, I don't mean the guy down at your local Y. I'm talking about guys that compete in the NFL. They go through an intense amount of physical training most of their lives to get to the NFL. And then it's even worse when you get there.
Yeah.
Now, Cam is one of the bigger quarterbacks at 6'5, 245. That man had one kid, or I say kid, this is an adult. He's an adult now.
Yep.
Underneath his arm in a headlock. He had another one by the shirt collar, and he's ragdolling them like they're, I don't know, stuffed animals, while getting sucker punch from other people and using the ragdolls to block. The whole time, he never lost his fedora.
That wasn't a fedora, dude. That was the Hogwarts sorting hat.
Whatever it is, that hat is his iconic signature. He never lost it. They were taking punches at him. He was diving and weaving.
He took out 4 dudes while he was dressed as
man. That was impressive. And I mean, I've been around a lot of pro football players that I got to hang out with Steve McNair a few times, and McNair's a big boy too. McNair was 6'5", 245.
Yep.
I've seen Derrick Henry. Yeah, that get hit by Ray Lewis or getting trucked by Derrick Henry. No, me and Ray gonna have to go to town. I don't care how bad of a man he was. Nope, I'm gonna take my chances with him. But
I'd love to know. Yeah, I would love to know what led up to it. I mean, you
I
hate
think it was all just social media hype.
You hate to see it, and you hate to see. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. I hate seeing Cam Newton. He dresses like such an idiot, and all these people follow him and want to look like him. I mean, do you really got to be that individual? Come on.
No, but here's the thing that he does. That man gives back to his community like nobody's business.
I know, and it makes me kind of regret saying what I just said.
And he's a hot Atlanta boy. He's from Hot Atlanta. He's not from Atlanta. He's from Hot Atlanta. He moved his podcast there. He moved his studios there. He's doing all of his business out of Atlanta. You can't say the man doesn't care about.
See that video of him getting kissed by Pac-Man Jones?
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, we've all done some stupid stuff in our lives, but and some things that we think might be good at the time and they just don't turn out right. Like I do that on a weekly basis usually. But that said, you can't fault his integrity for wanting to help. I mean, he doesn't have to go to these 7-on-7 camps. He doesn't have to sponsor that stuff. He doesn't have to have the business. He has got enough money. He doesn't need any of this. And it's sad that somebody that's giving back to the community doesn't get that respect. And some of them do, some of them don't. I mean, Eddie George, that man's given so much to the community. Oh gosh, when Zach Pillar was a Titan, that man gave so much to the community. And Steve McNair, I mean, hey, you could go as far as saying Vince Young gave back to the community. I mean, he would go out and spend $30,000-$40,000 at a bar and buy
Vince Young did his best work after he got called out and put out.
Yeah. I mean, hey, he gave a lot to the community, mostly by the fact that he was drinking a lot and would buy everybody shots.
But if you haven't seen, so Cam Newton was doing his podcast and there was a video on him from the from the outside. I don't know if it was a video camera from his podcast or if it was just somebody that was filming him doing his podcast. But Pac-Man Jones comes up from the outside, grabs his face, plants a big old kiss on him, and turns around. Cam Newton turns around and it's like, what the hell just happened? His eyes are damn big or whatever. And it was the funniest damn thing. If you haven't seen that,
if you're in the middle of the podcast, you don't want to just start a fight.
No, I mean, it was all love. It was all Pac-Man,
hey, Pac-Man was
a Titan. He'll always be a Titan.
He was good for the community. You can talk bad about him all you want. When a kid came up to him, I mean, I got to go to their training camps at that time. I knew a lot of people in the organization. I was in the bubble. I never saw Pac-Man once tell a kid no. Yeah, never. Now, was he an asshole off the field? Did he bang strippers and probably do a lot of stuff? I don't know. I didn't see that part. But I never saw him turn away a kid come up and say, hey, Pac-Man, can I get this? I'll tell you one of the most coolest things, and it actually is on a video. What are you doing? Are you trying to make sure yours is bigger than mine now? Because I called you out for having
as big as yours.
Whatever. our logos were different sizes, and he got mad because his is smaller. And I said, well, it's like that always with you. But
dude, I sat here for 20 minutes trying to figure out how to friggin' fix it. So.
But I saw
Sorry, go ahead.
Pac-Man.
Go ahead.
I saw Pac-Man walking out of the stadium or I think it was it was after the game. And this guy came around and said, "Hey, Pac-Man, can I get your autograph for this football from my dad?" And he goes, "Well, fuck yeah, man." So he starts signing it. He goes, "Who's your dad?" And he goes, and he signs it to his dad. He goes, "Tell your dad I fucking love him." And the guy was just like, wow, like,
Right.
and, but I could see after that interaction, the guy was stunned originally, but then he was like, man, that was probably one of the coolest things that I've ever mentioned. And I thought it was cool because tell your dad I fucking love him. Like if somebody comes up and says, "Hey, can I get this
All
football?"
right, you're over our F-bomb quota.
Whatever. Somebody says, "Hey, if I was not saying it for me, I was saying it for Pac-Man."
I got you. Got you. There was quotes around that.
Yeah, there was quotes around it. If somebody says, "I effing love your dad," for asking for this, like, what does that show? That shows I paid attention enough to listen to you and not just sign your football. I asked for his name. I gave you my time. I gave you my attention. Man, for a star or even a player in the league, I mean, that's a big ask. I mean,
Yeah.
Is it kind of what you sign up for when you come into the league? Sure. But it's still, I mean, I can't tell you how many interactions I've had with celebrities in Nashville that, I never go up and ask for autographs. I'm just not that guy. Even if I'm working in your house, I'm not going to do it. I've seen a ton of those interactions where they're kind of put off. Really, I'm at dinner. I just ordered. I hate to tell you no, but man, I really just want to be my family. I just want to be me for a night. And it's hard.
I tell you this story about somebody right now that's receiving a lot of hate in the Nashville area. And the only reason they're receiving this hate is because they support Joe Biden.
Okay.
That's and up until it was made known that this person supported Joe Biden, they really couldn't do any wrong, and that's Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
And so about 6 years ago, I was out in Rivergate. I went to the Chick-fil-A out there, sitting at Chick-fil-A, and I kept looking. This guy over across the way, he was sitting with a couple other dudes. And I was like, man, it looks like Garth. He was in some overalls and a ball cap, looked like he just got done throwing hay, honestly.
Sure.
And
Trying to
so
tone it down.
so I got done eating. I walked over to him. I said, look, man, I said, I'm pretty sure you are who you think you are. I just want to shake your hand, tell you, I enjoy your music. And he stands up and he shakes my hand. He's like, yes, sir, I'm Garth Brooks. He said, why don't you sit down for a second? So he invited me to sit down with him and his friends, and he introduced his friends. And I mean, we sat there 15, 20 minutes, and he was just asking about me and my family. And I'm telling you, the nicest damn guy you have ever met in your life. And I think he's getting such a bum rap because he supports Joe Biden. I mean, politics should not be the reason why people stop liking somebody, and they are giving this man such hell, and he's a good dude, man. Golly, he's a good. I mean, he could have just shook my hand, said, "Hey, yeah, appreciate it," and I could have gone. This man said, "Man, why don't you sit down? Let me introduce my friends to you. Tell me about yourself." I mean, this dude was cool as hell.
Yeah.
Cool as hell.
And that's, I hate to see it. I mean, am I a Biden fan? No. Do I think he's even capable of being president? No. I mean, he's a walking diaper, that walks really slow. But that said, I'm not going to, if you voted for him, I'm not going to say, "You're an idiot." I'm not going to disrespect you. That's your opinion.
Yeah.
When did opinions become so violent? And when did they become so inflammatory, I guess is the word I'm looking for? I mean, hey, you don't like my opinion? It's okay. It doesn't have to be your opinion.
Don't have
an
to.
opinion. You don't have to be offended by it. Guess what? You can turn the channel. You can not talk to me. You can ask me why. Let's try to find common ground on certain issues. Hey, you think the Second Amendment should include assault weapons, or fully automatic weapons? Okay, that's your opinion. I have the difference of opinion. Now, we can debate facts and we can talk about those things, but when we stop debating, we stop being human. I mean, that's communication is our greatest asset that keeps us apart from every other species. If orangutans could communicate like us, they would be just like us. Guarantee it, because they could figure out how to move their, species from a Stone Age species to where we are just like that. I mean, because they could start working together better. They could do different things. So I think, are you with us still, Chris? I think he got stopped. I'm going to pause it real quick. I think he went offline.
All right.
Sorry about that, Chris. Chris got cut off, had some computer issues. We're not going to say it has anything to do with cyber attacks or conspiracy theories with end of the world or anything like that. I think his computer just may be older than me. It may be older than me.
No, it's actually not. It's not real old. It's only like 4 or 5 years old. It's one of those Lenovo's that you get at Best Buy, though. It was just something that I grabbed because my other one crapped out, and I didn't have time or money to go buying something fantastic.
Well,
for a while it worked, but now that we got all these pictures on it and stuff for real estate and my wife's photography and everything else, it's starting to slow down and crap out.
Gotcha. I know we talked recently about people moving in from out of state and where they were coming from and stuff like that. The new United Van Lines report came out today, and Tennessee was not in the top 10 for inbound states, which I thought was surprising. The top inbound states were Vermont, DC, South Carolina, Arkansas, Rhode Island, North Carolina, South Dakota, Alabama, New Mexico, and West Virginia. You did not see Tennessee, Texas, or Florida, which was strange. I thought that's really weird. Now, moving out, obviously, they were pretty easy. New Jersey, Illinois, North Dakota, New York, Michigan, California, Massachusetts, Kansas. None of those really surprised me. Kansas, maybe. But, I mean, if you're in New Jersey, North Dakota, New York, Illinois because of Chicago, Michigan, obviously, California, those don't surprise me a bit. Massachusetts, but Kansas, Now, that said, we talked about the number one state moving in that we see is what? California, right?
Moving out is California.
Coming to Tennessee on your end, what you saw.
Yeah.
They had
followed by New York.
They had the number one state for people moving in was Florida, with 25,318 people
moving into Tennessee.
And California second, 22,565. Georgia was third at 14,770, and Texas was fifth at 12,862. Now, I did dig deeper into that to see kind of like what they were talking about. Of the Florida and Texas people, 60% were buying a second home here. What does that tell you? Snowbirds.
Yeah.
Those people are buying snowbird houses. So they're buying a second home here either because they don't want to be in Florida in the summertime or Texas in the summertime, or option two, both of those states have restrictive state taxes based on different things. And Tennessee is one of the best states to live in for, one, there's no state income tax, two, housing property value. So if you spend 51% of your days in Tennessee, claim it as your residence, no state income tax, better property taxes, things like that. So just
I'd like to see what it was that you looked at. I mean, because we looked at a study.
It's the United Van Lines report. It comes out every year.
Just a little over a month ago, I guess, that we looked at that one that was showing that Los Angeles was the highest influx.
Top city. No, I was looking, it's more at state. So United Van Lines comes out every year. It's a state-based, it's a national, it's based on the Census Bureau. So, I mean, but they take all their data from the MLSs and things like that. So
I got you.
Just something to kind of chew over. It came out yesterday.
Yeah. Well, talking about some top things. So there was a study that went out here in Nashville that was what were the top 20, and I'm not going to give you all 20, but what were the top 20 restaurants that were the top rated by Yelp for the Nashville area? And so
I want to hear those.
Well, I'm just going to give you the number one
because I need to review them.
Yeah, man, the number one top.
Man's got to eat.
So this place that got number one in the Nashville area, the number one top rated Yelp reviews, it had 25 reviews with a perfect 5.0, is Mama Yang and Daughter. So at first I was like, Yeah, so it's a Taiwanese bar, right? Or not
Right.
bar, but it's a Taiwanese
Taiwanese food.
restaurant. And of course, it's mother daughter is putting it together and is running this thing. But they have Taiwanese frozen handmade dumplings. Um, and the thing that I can see is why people are going there. It is the first made from scratch bobas in Nashville. Hand frozen handmade dumplings and made from scratch bobas. Um, so frozen pack consists of 8 frozen dumplings, and you take them home and you cook them, and they give you the cooking instructions and especially sauce and all that kind of stuff that goes with it. But the handmade bobas um, is made with Taiwanese milk tea leaves, and they're imported directly from a tea farm in Taiwan. And then a cup of tea or bubble tea, I think it's called something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Bubble tea.
Um, yeah, so it's I've never had a boba, but I
I've had
know that
boba.
there's a lot of people that love it,
There
and
is.
so this particular restaurant started in 2021. Um, they it says that so the wording says the dumpling recipes not only took Mama Yang a lifetime to develop, they were also comfort food for all of her children. So this is
Sure.
straight up home cooking.
And
It may not be American home cooking, but it's
yeah.
home cooking, and it is currently the top rated Yelp restaurant in Nashville.
So I I will admit that I haven't been there. I do not know anything about it, but I will say that I have been to the Yelp's listings of things and what they think are essential or better. And there's their list of the top 25. It does include Shotgun Willie's Barbecue. If you hadn't had Shotgun Willie's Barbecue, it's one of my places that I will review at some point. It's really good. It's named after Willie Nelson. It's supposed to have one of the best barbecues in Nashville. But if you look at their Yelp list, these are all things that are not, how do I say it? They're not American cuisine. They're
Right.
going to be like SS Guy, East Side Banh Mi, Jiao Ba. Uh, you're going to have a lot of food that isn't normal to Nashville.
Right.
It's amazing to me how you can't recognize Rose Pepper Cantina, best
Yeah.
margaritas in Nashville, 21 years in a row, and they're not on the Yelp top 25 for Mexican restaurants, much less restaurants. Period.
Here you
But
go.
you'll have
Here's your
somebody like
top five. Top
Mais
five. Yelp.
Velveeta. Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just talked right over top of you.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just complaining that I don't think Yelp is something that I trust because I think Yelp is based on a lot of marketing material and you
Sure.
can pay for a Yelp rating. And when I say pay for a Yelp rating, there are companies out there that can increase your Yelp rating by giving fake reviews or by promoting the reviews or whatever. Maybe they ask for the reviews. I don't know. I'm not going to insinuate Yelp is crooked. I'm just saying, as somebody that was in marketing for a while for a corporate, I was offered the ability to increase our Yelp rating from a 3.8 to a 4.5 for about $15,000. And it was money back guaranteed. So anyway,
Well,
give us the top five.
regardless. Yeah. So this is based off of, okay, here's your top five. 81 reviews. Brightside Bake Shop. It's over at 713 Porter Road. So that's
I've heard
over
of
in
it.
East Nashville. Um, that's number 5. Number 4 is Burritos La Mina, which is on Thompson Lane over in Nashville, Mexican. It says it's a food truck. So that's pretty cool for a food truck to get one of the top reviews.
What's the name
That's
of it? Burritos what?
Burritos La Mina, Mina.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 3 is called The Horn. It looks like it says coffee and tea and Somali. So a Somali style restaurant, 169 reviews, 5.0. So heck, that's better than the mama thing. I wonder how that worked out. But 619 Murfreesboro Pike in Nashville. And number 2 is the Jerusalem Rebar. I wonder if this is a list that's only for ethnic food.
No, that's how Yelp is. That's what I was just saying. It's very strange to me how Yelp can get non-traditional cuisine and they're always the top rated. It
Yeah.
seems like there's a
Well, obviously this
marketing.
one is
It seems like
Middle
you're paying for
Eastern.
the marketing.
Obviously, this one's Middle Eastern, Jerusalem Rebar. It's at 360 Elysian Fields, which that's over there by the Grassmere Zoo. Um, and then, of course, Mama Yang and daughter is at 4611 Alabama Avenue in Nashville. Taiwanese, bubble tea, specialty food. Um, but see, I don't understand if this one, they all got 5.0 ratings.
Well, then if you
This
look
one's
at
only
some,
got 25 reviews in 5.0. That one that's had
like I
106.
said, I don't
That should
trust,
have
I
been.
don't trust any of those type of situations. TripAdvisor, Yelp, any of them that you can pay for your rating, I don't trust them. So like at TripAdvisor, the top restaurants are going to be One Kitchen Table, Harriet's Rooftop, Central Bar, The Chef and I, Midtown Cafe, Jeff Ruby's, Etch, Henley, Mayor Bulls, and Skulls Row. If you haven't been to Mayor Bulls lately, it's not the same place it used to be.
I have not been there since the freaking 90s. Are you kidding me?
It is not the same place. Jeff Ruby's, it's still good, but
Yep.
it's strange that each of these companies, whether it's Yelp, Food Network, it seems like you can pay for your rating. That's why I trust somebody like, so if you go to Food Network, their number one restaurant, what do you think it is? You've heard
Gonna be
of
a
it.
hot chicken place, maybe.
Of course it is. Of
Which
course it
one?
is. Hattie B's.
Oh, come on.
Man, I've had so much better hot chicken in Nashville than Hattie B's.
Oh,
And Hattie B's, I'll give them credit. They were one of the first. They were.
they
But
were
they're not the best anymore. They're people
not.
that have upgraded it. But even if you go to like, if you look at top restaurants and you just type in top restaurants in Nashville for Google, you're going to come up with 15 different lists. I mean, and none of them are going to have the same. I'm looking at another one right now from Time Out. Lyra, Bastion, Peg Leg Porker. Come on now, seriously. Pinewood, Henrietta Red, Posteria,
Tell me this.
Pathern,
Tell me
Catbird
this.
Seat,
You're
Butcher and
thinking
Bean,
about
and Pelican and
Nashville.
Pig.
You're thinking about Nashville. What is the food that comes to mind when you think of Nashville?
I would almost say it has become hot chicken just because of I mean, I don't know that it was invented here, but it was perfected here.
Did you see what they made a Tennessee State food?
No, what's Tennessee State food?
Freaking well, it's one of them now. I think there's only a couple of them, but none of them are Nashville hot chicken. It's hot slaw.
What?
They made hot slaw a freaking state food. That
Wait,
has got to be the
who made
dumbest
this?
thing I've ever heard.
Was this legislatures?
Yes.
Okay. They got paid. Don't worry about it.
I'll have to go in here and find I don't have the
Hang
article
on.
in front of me. I
Pour
saw it the other
me.
day, but
Every time I think of the legislature, I have to pour a drink. Here's to Nancy Pelosi's husband because you know he's drinking. There's proof of that. We got DUIs. We got him getting assaulted by a gay guy. I mean,
so we're talking about Nashville bars, man. Before we get off that subject, there was a bar that's over in East Nashville that got knocked down by fire.
I saw that, and they have made a roaring comeback.
Yes, they did. So it's excuse me,
Nashville, good job. I love seeing stuff like that, man. I can't tell you how many heartaches I see a day. I'm going to a house tomorrow for a insurance job. When the tornado came through a couple of months ago, they got unlucky. They got hit pretty bad. And it's taken about a month to get the insurance ready to go. And I'll be doing the inside. I got to gut the whole thing and redo it. That said, their insurance is paying most of it, but they had everybody in that neighborhood. They were the only house that had significant damage. There was a few that had windows, a couple had roofs. Their house is pretty bad. Yeah. Everybody in their neighborhood has been over there, has helped out. They cleared debris. They stayed with the neighbors. That stuff to me, that shows me that Nashville's still that place that I grew up in. So when I see a place like this restaurant you're talking about, Burned to the
So the
ground.
name of it is Rosemary and Beauty Queen.
Mhm.
It's over in East Nashville. So
It is.
they had a fire. It was early morning fire. They had a fire on January 27th.
It was a grease fire,
Thankfully,
wasn't it?
I'm not sure, but it did. Of course, it scorched it. It didn't knock it down,
Nope.
thankfully. But they did. They launched a GoFundMe, and to try to help. With everything that they had to do during the closure time, to pay for things. But it raised. So they made a $60,000 goal, and it raised $55,000 to help. So now they got around 40 employees that are, of course, relying on this place to be open.
Sure.
So it's they're going to reopen fully as it is, but right now they're saying, come on in. We're mostly open.
They're
Uh,
doing a soft open. Yep.
yeah, so they
And
might
it's been
have
really good.
only the
Everything I've seen said it's
patio.
doing good.
They might have only the patio, but for now. But so they're still saying, that out of the GoFundMe, if you can give anything, that 100% of that GoFundMe is going directly to the staff,
Yep.
so that they can all, be back there once.
And that's what people don't realize. They see something like this and they say the insurance has, or the business has insurance. That's going to cover the building. That's going to cover the things I do. It's going to cover the
Right.
building, the remodel,
Not
everything.
going to cover that staff.
It's not going to cover those people in the back that are cooking. And
Mhm.
I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to go find another job. I mean, if they do that, then the restaurant has even more problems when they reopen because they got to hire new staff. They got to train them. They got to do all those things. So it's great to see something like that. I love seeing it from Nashville because I
Heck yeah,
think,
great job.
we're still a small community.
$55,000. Great freaking job.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking of money, did you see the new bill that came across the the state legislature this week?
Maybe if you maybe if
They are
you didn't tell me
trying
about this one,
to
maybe you mentioned
they
it.
are trying to increase the minimum wage.
Oh no, I
It's
haven't
right
seen
now. Now, Tennessee does have a very low minimum wage. It is $7.25 an hour. I think that's probably low. What do you think they're going to try to increase it to?
I'm gonna say probably $15 to $18, somewhere in that area.
20.
No,
That's what I pay skilled labor or partially skilled labor people. If you come out to me and you say, "Hey, I'm an apprentice," all right, you're $20 an hour.
that's
That means
ridiculous.
I can't trust you to do this job, but I can teach you how to do this job. That's how most people do that. Um, and you want to pay the cashier at McDonald's $20 an hour? You
When they
think
can't even
prices are
hit the
high
middle of
now?
your filet-o-fish with the damn tartar sauce. I mean,
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I had tied one on Saturday night. I woke up Sunday and thought, man, I'm gonna need some pizza. Because there's nothing like a good recovery food than pizza. I don't consider Waffle House recovery food. That's pre-gaming the recovery. So you eat Waffle House while you're out, maybe you're coming home from the night out, somebody designated drove you, you're at Waffle House, you might be tipsy, you eat the Waffle House, then you wake up the next day and you eat the pizza. I ordered a Domino's pizza, had it delivered because I still was a little tipsy. It was definitely undercooked. If you
yeah.
see Dave Portnoy with his zero flop, yeah, it was cold. I was like, I just popped it in the oven. I was like, all right, this thing's got 10 more minutes in the oven. So,
Well,
yeah,
it comes down to this. It's such a hot button topic for people. So many people are like, oh, it should. Nobody that works on minimum wage is able to pay their bills. And I'm like, you know what? That's right, because a minimum wage job is meant for teenagers that are learning how to work, getting out of
yeah,
high school.
it's not
It is
skilled labor.
not meant. You are not supposed to sit there and work at McDonald's cooking them French fries late into your 30s.
No,
Get out and
it,
get out and move forward and get a job. I mean, 15
well,
$20 an hour to cook French fries at McDonald's. Are you freaking kidding me? Come on.
that's the thing that I disagree with about our economy. I think skilled labor should also include trades. And I'm in the trades industry. I wasn't always in the trades industry. I was in corporate world for a while. I think skilled labor is harder than corporate world in a lot of senses.
Sure
So,
it is.
and the crazy thing is,
And it's harder on you.
yeah, the crazy thing is, as we move forward as a society, those skilled labor jobs are going to get more and more expensive because there's less people doing them.
You're already
So,
seeing it in the electricians and the welders, and
oh,
you're already seeing
hey,
it.
wait till you start seeing plumbers because that's a shitty job.
Plumbers, yes.
Literally shitty. job. Get it? It was a joke. It was fun. Um, I I think as we see the economy change and us grow to a more digital age, those skilled labor jobs are going to be paid more and more because there's going to be less and less of them. And I think that that's a good thing. I mean, because like you said, it is harder on the body. It's
It is.
harder for somebody to get underneath the house and crawl underneath the house than it is for somebody to sit at a computer and type. Yeah, it might take more memory or more brain power. That doesn't mean it's more skilled. Skilled is physical just as well mental.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and put my opinion out there that this will not pass. I don't care what kind of effort they put forward on this. It is not going to get any kind of traction whatsoever. And it's probably not anything we have to worry about at the moment. But just the simple fact, the audacity of the fact that they're asking for $20 an hour
Yeah.
to be minimum wage.
I mean,
You go to restaurants right now, you go to Wendy's, you go to some McDonald's, they've already got freaking computers that they're using for cashiers.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to come down to is all these kids and all these people with these starter jobs are not going to have starter jobs because they're going to do everything automated and they're going to get rid of all this stuff. And then we got all these people with no damn jobs.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's got about as much chance of passing as California's does of $50 an hour, and that's what they're asking for. There's a Senate person running for Senate, Barbara Lee, in California, that says it needs to be $50 an hour. Listen, why not just come out and say, "Hey, if you vote for me, I'll give you $50 an hour." Let's just, I mean, cut to the chase. Buy the votes. Just say, "Hey, I'll give you
I wonder
$50."
about California, about their whole economic structure. I mean, you watch you watch some of these shows, or like house flipping shows, or people going to buy homes and they're all in California or whatever, and they're like, yeah, we got a budget of $2 million. I sell socks out of my trunk, and my wife does sidewalk art. So I
Yeah.
mean, you got to wonder about the whole play. I mean, honestly, let's chip it off at the fault line and push it out into the ocean. Let them be their own.
Hey, speaking of that, they've had a lot of stuff out there. If you didn't see, they had some bad landslides and stuff. There's
Yeah.
there's homeowners out there that are their houses are about to go. I saw one guy that had tarped. He paid some company, engineer company, and they tarped over 3 acres of land that was falling to keep the rain from hitting it and washing it out. And I thought, man, it's a big tarp. I didn't even know they made tarps that big. So
Go down and
interesting.
check out Nashville Tent and Awning and see what they make.
Nashville Tent and Awning coming to you. I need that sponsorship, Nashville Tent and Awning. I need a little logo behind me.
Now tarp 3 acres.
Man, speaking of getting old and my vision, you may not notice I do have some cuts here. Or no, sorry, over here. That tells you about it is. Can you see that?
Syphilis.
Here and here. Does it
Not
show up on the
syphilis.
camera?
Yeah, I can see them.
Okay.
When I don't see
Evident-
nothing down here, I see this one up here on the
There's
top
one.
of your head.
There's one right
Oh,
here.
yeah, you got a little
Okay.
closer. I got you.
So that was last week. That was this week. Evidently, my peripheral vision is so bad I don't see things very good, and I just walk into stuff. So I walked into something today and cut my head. I was like, all right, my vision. I got to get this, and it's getting better. But yeah, I noticed I felt a little tinge. So
I got a little bit further on my truck. A couple weeks.
How's that
ago,
going?
A couple weeks ago, I had a 100,000-mile warranty on this truck, and at 103,000 miles, it decided to throw 2 rods, one out of each side of the truck, ran over whatever the hell came out of my truck, and blew out the back tire. So my truck is in dire straits and has been at the Dodge dealership since then because I've been trying to get Dodge to. I mean, come on, 3,000 miles over and the whole damn. It's 100. I paid $105,000 for this truck. Okay. 2020 Ram 3500 long bed.
Hey, if a dealership can get out of it, they're going to get out of it.
I just want them to cover the damn repair. It's $34,000 for the repair. So anyway, so what I went forward with is I had some buddies that they said, well, you ought to try these folks out in Springfield, Tennessee. So it's called Outlaw. It's not Outlaw Diesel. It's like Outlaw
Whatever.
something. But anyway,
Sure.
I called them and I was like, yeah, I was like, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take my engine that I have. I said, because the only
Use all
thing
the
that's wrong with it
parts.
is, yeah, the block has got 2 holes in it. So I don't get me a new engine and put all the other shit from it on top of there. And she was like, well, we don't really rebuild engines. She said, but we can call and we can get Jasper, we can do this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
She said, but it won't cost anywhere near what
Sure.
Mopar and the Dodge dealerships calling. And so had high hopes all day. And then just before the podcast, they called me up to say, well, Jasper doesn't have any of those engines right now. And we
Yep.
can find you a used one that, may or may not work 3 months down the road. And so I am still struggling with this
I
whole
got
thing.
remind me when I get off air. I'll give you a number. I got a guy. He's
Yeah.
in Lebanon. He's in Lebanon. That said, I'll tell you a funny story about some of the Nashville, and this is kind of shows you where Nashville still is lacking as far as a city goes. A couple years back, I had a Ford Escape, had bought it with a 100,000-mile warranty, knew I had a 100,000-mile warranty, but couldn't find the paperwork. Through one of the weights, the counterweights in the transmission, threw it through the bottom of the transmission, lost transmission. I'm not going to name that dealership, even though they are a massive dealership in Nashville and run a bunch of ads in Nashville. Couldn't find the warranty in my paperwork. Said it was 60,000, not 100,000. Needless to say, took it to another dealership. They started the process of fixing it, found the paperwork, finally found the paperwork because this was mid-divorce. And that dealership was able to cover all but like $800, which to me was great, better than the $4,300 for that. When I called that dealership, they said it's not our responsibility to keep your paperwork, even though we make you sign it here. And even though the paperwork required me to have all of the maintenance done at that dealership. Seems strange, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I hate Nashville. We still have that small town, we'll kind of screw you if we can part, but it's bad. But not every dealership's like that. I've had some great experiences at this Dodge dealership in Winchester. I've had terrible experiences at the Dodge dealership in Tullahoma, which is
Chesterton, Fieldville.
Yeah, I mean, every dealership's different. Some you're gonna have good experiences, bad experiences. So
well, yeah, you hit me up with whoever you're talking about when we get.
I will. I'll send it over. I'll send it over to you.
Well, let's knock out these last couple of things so that we don't have these folks listening for an hour and a half.
Hey, it's not my fault your computer died.
I know. Well, no, we paused for them, so they
did you replace the hamster in the thing to keep the power going?
I had to replace it with a gerbil.
Okay, that's fine.
Took it from
Richard Gere said that's fine.
I beat you to it.
That Eddie Murphy joke was so good. Oh man, Eddie was so good.
He really was. All right, so here's one of the things I'm extremely excited about, and of course, every freaking new college athlete is kind of excited about at the moment. But all that stuff that was going on with the NIL and University of Tennessee. So a federal judge Friday suspended the NCAA rules on name, image, and likeness benefits for athletes. So basically dealt a serious blow to the college sports governing body's enforcement powers, which is awesome, in my opinion. So it eases the stress on Tennessee. It's a victory for the Attorney General in Tennessee, in Virginia.
Sure.
So the lawsuit against the NCAA and potentially for UT and its fight against NCAA and over the NIL rules. So basically what it comes down to is the court, of course, they granted a preliminary injunction against the ban. So now you've got I don't even remember. I don't remember how many players that they said, but all of these players can basically now sign up NIL deals without having to worry about any kind of NCAA violations whatsoever, because it's going to continue to go on until the entire thing is over with. So
the bad thing is, and we kind of talked about this on the Whiskey and Wisdom with Johnny Manziel. This stuff was going on. You can put your ostrich in the sand head, just dig in and say it's not happening, but it was happening.
Yeah.
So when the NCAA opened that bag of worms, you got to go unrestricted now. Like you just have to say, screw it.
Yeah.
We're not going to have anything to do with it. Let them pay people if they want to pay people. Not much we can do about it. That's it. The Johnny Manziel interview with Shannon Sharp was so enlightening into what goes on in college football. And I mean, he said it on other shows too, but he really got the notoriety and got that. Listen, there's deals made with the head coach saying, hey, $3 million, I'll stay here.
Yeah.
Not I'm going to the pros.
Oh, here's the number. Here's your number. 523,000 athletes at 1,088 institutions can now negotiate and sign NIL contracts before enrolling at the university with no fear of breaking NCAA rules until the case concludes. But that's going to be months from now.
But here's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
How many people do you have on TikTok?
On TikTok, not very many. On Facebook, there's like 5,000.
Okay. That's nothing. These kids coming out of high school are getting hundreds, if not millions of people following them. And for TikTok, for a school or TikTok, Instagram, whatever, for a school, that has to have a value. I mean, if this kid is a high school basketball player throwing 360s dunks, and they're going to come to UT Chattanooga or UT Knoxville, that's got a value. If they've got 50,000 people following them, it's got this value. If it's got 5 million, it's got that value. So I totally get it as a business. I, as a business owner in different categories, would gladly pay that for, or say, hey, listen, I can afford this right now. Do this for me, and that's what I can afford. Maybe another business can afford more, whatever. But I mean, I am using that kid. I'm not getting zero benefit. I'm paying that kid to promote my business. I am giving them something and they're giving me something. They're sending my business, hey, the next time you're in Nashville and you need your floor repaired or you need your house fixed, use Donnie at the home decor store.
But see, that's the thing that you can do. That's what and that's what you should be.
I agree. I think it's a good thing. I think that
it really is.
NCAA sticking their nose in it, just stay out of it. It's none of your business.
Well, I mean, because they do not have, the NCAA does not have the authority to prohibit student athletes from negotiating their compensation. No, they just, I really don't think that they should, or with any third party entity, boosters or a collective of boosters, or until there's a final decision on this. That's the way it's going to be. They can dictate.
And the thing is, they never should have had that ability. The NCAA wanted to be so restrictive and say, hey, we're so straight and narrow. You can't compromise our ethics. In the meantime, they're taking in the back door from Billy Bob over there, saying, hey, we'll take this if you give us that. So, I mean,
because they're making the money off of these athletes 100%.
Man, they are.
Hand over fist. Hand over fist.
So, if you want to tell me that this athlete can't get paid, but you're going to go sell the rights to his football game on NBC or Fox for $50 million?
Right.
Yeah, come on, man.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, those kids playing for Vanderbilt aren't getting part of that. They're getting zero money from that SEC deal that they signed with CBS or Fox or South Network. No, don't be hypocritical. Just let them do their thing.
Kudos to the lawyers from Tennessee. Kudos to the lawyers from Virginia. This is the way this stuff should have gone, and
100%.
Hopefully that it continues that way.
Yes, sir.
My final little bit of info or storyline that I wanted to talk about. I don't know if we talked about it a couple weeks ago, where Belmead is getting a redevelopment project. Which absolutely it needs, because it's always been just like way out. It's been out in the middle of nowhere. It's away from the interstates. There was never really a whole lot of traffic that went there, but now all of a sudden there is. I mean, it's just, it's, completely different. So, National Planning Commission has been working on it, and they approved initial plans. Last May, they approved initial plans that was like 400 condos and apartments, 80,000 square foot of commercial space, 78 hotel rooms. Now it's kind of been met with mixed emotion, I guess, is the best thing, because there's people that are excited about the things that they get, but I can tell you this right now, 90% of them are not excited about all
No,
the
they're not.
apartments.
Belmead is not the area to get
400 condos.
multifamily housing. And when I say that, I mean like condos,
Right.
apartment buildings,
Well,
hotels. You could, hey, we're going to put a Four Seasons right here.
yeah.
No, they don't care. Get out of here. That's not our place.
Yeah,
It's the
condos
Richie
and the
Rich.
apartments is not, it is not high on anybody's list, and it doesn't really
Not in
matter
that
where
area.
you are. I mean, that's kind of the way that Mount Juliet was going. We were there where they're building all these apartment complexes, and man, I can't tell you the amount of people that showed up at the different zoning meetings and all those other kind of things, just trying to stop it. And so to go to a place like Belmead and put apartments, you're now the good side of it, the upside of it is, let me go back and find the number. Here it is. Green space, public walkways, and parks will make up 60% of the project site, according to the developer. So that is good news.
Yeah, but you're talking about, I can put a 3 acre lot and I can put 1 acre going 15 stories up and make millions.
Right. Well, hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully it doesn't come to any kind of high rises or things like that.
That's what they're asking for. It really is. I know some of those people in Belmead. I was a West Nashville guy. I was a Belmead guy. Belmead and West Nashville are like right beside each other, but they don't really claim West Nashville. Like my uncle was a Belmead police officer for 20 something years. So I got to know a lot of those people really well. I have good friends that live over there. It's the good old boys. It really is. It's the people that created the health industry. There's a lot of health industry over there. There's a lot of doctors and lawyers, and they don't want that over there. And I don't blame them. I mean, they
I don't
spent
know
top
that they're going to
dollar.
get what they want anymore. I mean, it's the hell. It's just not the case for the area anymore. I mean,
Well, the problem is,
traffic. There's a lot more car traffic. The good side of all of
that's what I
this
was
is
gonna say.
that the planning commission still needs to review the final plan.
Yeah.
Whenever
And if you don't know anything about the planning commissions in the Middle Tennessee area, they have all the power in the world.
Yeah.
Those planning commissions, because Nashville, people think of Nashville as one big area. It's not. There's a lot of little small areas in that, and they're all controlled by planning commissions. So you have the Belmead, you have the Bellevue, you have the Hendersonville, the Antioch, the Gallatin, the Goodlettsville, the all these little communities have separate planning commissions that everything has to go through them. So we're not going to say that there's corruption, but you've got to know the right people to get that approved. Yeah. And you get voted on by your constituents, you get voted on by your peers. So sometimes that process is very slow. I mean, I to this day think that West Nashville, that Bellevue area, would have been the Cool Springs Brentwood, which is now one of the top areas in Middle Tennessee, had the planning commission not been in place. And hey, I know some of those guys. I dated one of their daughters, and he told me straight up to my face, not as long as I'm the planning commission. What's that?
The daughter's a he?
No, I dated one of his daughters. Come
on
now.
The way you said it, I'm just
I didn't say I dated the daughter's son or something.
You said I dated one of their daughters, and
one of his daughters. Get out of here. All right, with that, we're going to close it up because Chris just called me a raging.
Blaming Brenda Dorothy. I mean,
man, you talk about a way to end the show. I mean, that's
right.
The ending you don't want.
Well, man, I enjoyed it. This was a good time, man. Good talk. And
yes,
I do want to try. You know what? I think
we're going to do another one this week.
I think we might try to get Zach Paxton on the next episode this week.
What night are you thinking? I'm going to text him right now.
Let me see. I'll tell you what. Let's go with of course the folks here don't really care.
Yeah, but we're going to set it up for them.
Right, absolutely. So I am going to say, let's pull up my calendar here and get all this stuff out of the way. So the only days that I really have stuff rolling is Tuesday and Wednesday. So, if you want to do
Thursday
it
it
Thursday
is.
night, I'm good.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Donnie Nolan. We will see you Thursday.
All right. Talk at you
Take
later.
care, boys and girls. We'll see you later.